Hello everyone, this is going to be a shorter video, at least I hope so, than usual, because the topic doesn't require too many sentences and too much looking into the subject. And even the occasion is not very unique because there's going to be a Sun-Neptune sextile, which happens twice not at least, but twice every year. And sextiles are nice aspects because they give you potentials. They are actually much useful, let's put it this way, than the trines. When trines are there by themselves, and they usually remain unrecognized in a native chart because the native takes it for granted, whereas sextiles are made up by either positive or negative signs. So if one planet is in an air sign, the other one is in a fire sign, so it gives inspiration to logic. Or when there is a water planet, the other planet is going to be in earth. So again, water and earth are complementary elements, and that's why sextiles move. This is how I teach them usually. But still, the fact remains that Sun-Neptune aspects are not rare at all. Before we actually look at it, and because I actually selected this particular Sun-Neptune to talk about, is the impact of the luminaries, because they are unique in this case. But before we do that, let's take a look at Neptune. Now, as of today, which is the beginning of January, or the first week of January, really, Neptune is the farthermost planet in the solar system. Behind it, we only have centaurs and TNOs and ETNOs, not proper planets. I am familiar with the calculations of astronomers and mathematicians who all claim, or most of them claim, that there should be a planet, a proper planet behind Neptune. And they have been looking for it for quite a while, ever since Neptune was discovered, by the way, and then Pluto was the end result of that, except that Pluto is so tiny that it can't be responsible for the orbital anomalies of Neptune, and they are still looking for it. I have a hunch that if there were a really big proper planet that is at least as big as Neptune or even as big as Jupiter, we should have been able to see it by now, because we have been spotting these centaurs and TNOs, which are really tiny. And if you take a look at the region where they orbit, the sun's rays are hardly reaching. If we had any type of rocket or any vehicle which we could actually jump to the end of the edge of the solar system, and we would be able to look into it, we could see the sun as a bright star. It doesn't really illuminate anything from this distance. So if we were able to see the tiny ones, how come we weren't able to see the really big one, which everyone is hoping for? So the fact remains that as of today, Neptune is the farthermost planet. And as such, it is farthest from the rays of the sun, but closest to the universal energies, to the universal light. And that is why in karmic astrology, we link Neptune to illumination and transcendence. And also, besides being, the planet of universal love and enlightenment, all kinds of transcendental experiences, dreams, and also some of the arts, the modern arts, for instance, movies, filming, photography, they are all linked to Neptune. So a Sun-Neptune aspect, any Sun-Neptune aspect, is going to be about clairvoyance, how you can see in a rational lens what is transcendental. Let's take a look at the chart for London. This is going to be a short, only 2 pages of the Word file that I prepared for you, because really it's It's not just we are not going to look at the chart itself. Yeah. It will happen at 0:37, so it's right after midnight on the 16th. And as you can see in this chart, Aries is on the descendant, but we won't be, and yes, and there is a Venus-Ceres conjunction as well, and there's a triple conjunction, although out of sign, with the two Liliths and Pallas Athena. We don't care for that at the moment. What we care for is that the exact Sun-Neptune sextile is at the very early hours of the 16th of January. And what makes it interesting is the fact that the moon has been crossing over Neptune just prior to that on the 15th. We are going to look at that exact moment as well. And so the moon is also thrown into the picture, and also the sun is in an applying conjunction to Pluto, depending on what sort of astrology you are working with, and depending what orbs you're using. Still, this is within 5 degrees, so I could say this is, to my taste, a little bit wide, but applying conjunction from the sun to Pluto. It will be interesting that on the 20th, there's going to be an exact Sun-Pluto conjunction at a very, very, very energetic degree, 29 degrees 59. And then a couple of minutes later, the sun will move into Aquarius, and then Pluto will also move into Aquarius the next day. It's not going to be its final stay there, because it will move back into Capricorn sometime at the end of September or something, and then go back again into Aquarius, and that will be the defining moment. And that is when we are going to look at that chart, what it suggests. We are not going to talk about, because everyone is harping about Pluto in Aquarius. I'm not joining the choir at the moment yet. I will once it really moves there for good for the next 15 years or so, maybe more. So, but in this case, I would like to show you the illuminating effect of the luminaries, because what is happening here? Actually, there are 4 different things. Yes, there is a Sun-Neptune sextile. Again, this is the potential for clairvoyance. So you can actually look into stuff that is beyond your normal human senses, normal human understanding, something that is transcendent or very uniquely occult or esoteric. So that's it. And the Neptune moon aspect is always about clairaudience. So it's like your inner voice, or also musical talent. That's also linked to moon Neptune. Very often these people are very musical. Music is the dream world, really, and so it helps you to understand that facet of life. And there's going to be a sun moon aspect as well. We are 4.5 days later after the Capricorn new moon. This is already the crescent moon phase, and within the crescent moon phase, which is between the 45-degree and the first quarter, the sun moon quarter, the best aspect is the sextile. So it's a very nice moment in many ways. And when you have a sun moon aspect, of course, it shows how your inner psychic energy and your soul energy and your consciousness are working together. It can also show how your parents were working together when you were young, but in later years, it shows you how you accept your own psyche consciously, or vice versa, how your soul can accept your consciousness. And in a sextile, of course, it is always quite nice and flowing. And here's the thing that I wanted to show you. And for that, let's take a look at, because, yeah, there is an exact, not sun, moon, but moon. Why did I? Okay, sun. Yeah, this is sun. Sorry. So this is the exact moon-Neptune conjunction. It's a little bit earlier in the evening of the 15th of January. And as you can see, the sun-moon sextile, the exact sun-moon sextile was 16 minutes before that. So really, these four celestial objects are kind of moving together and working together, even though the Pluto-Sun conjunction is still quite wide, but applying. And here comes the important stuff that I wanted to tell you about. In karmic astrology, you have three aspects for a conjunction. You have an exact conjunction, which means within 1 degree. That's exact. Of course, it could be exact to the minute. I usually try to, whenever I'm talking about a conjunction, I try to find a time when they are really, really conjunct to the minute or even to the second, if I can make it happen with computers. But it really doesn't matter because within 1 degree, it is exact. And then the two planets merge, even with the luminaries, that they are at their highest potential. With the sun, of course, you can have a Kazemi and a combust energy. I go back to what the traditional Chaldean priest said or thought about combust conjunction. They didn't use the word combust. They simply use that the planet next to the sun is working or behaving in an irrational way. But it doesn't matter really. What matters is that it could be a little bit wider, but applying conjunction, just like with the Sun and Pluto at this moment. And there could be a separating conjunction, just like here in the first chart, where the moon is already preceding Neptune, leaving it behind. In a couple of hours, in another 6-7 hours, they will reach the 5 degrees, and after that, there will be no longer a Neptune-Moon conjunction. But as the moon is separating from Neptune, and indeed, if you take a look at a couple of hours, like 8, 9, 10 hours earlier, when it was an applying conjunction, it was really not the conjunction per se that was important, but the fact that the moon was highlighting, illuminating Neptune. I could show you what the process is if you are, let's say, you are going to a gallery which has some really monumental painting or fresco. If you know the Hungarian painter Csontváry, Google it. He has really wonderful paintings, and there was just recently an exhibition here in Hungary, in Budapest. And he really has huge paintings. And yeah, you could see things when you are standing right in front of it within 1 or 2 meters, but to get the true perspective, to get the true details, which might sound as a paradox because the closer you are, the more details you seem to see. But if you want to get a whole and a holistic view, you need at least 4 or 5 meters, because then you have the proper perspective to look at it as a whole. And that's what the sun or the moon can give you when they are about 4 or 5 degrees conjunct anything in your natal chart. It gives you a perspective that is able to see the whole. In Neptune's case, it is transcendence and all kinds of transcendental behavior patterns, experiences, dreams, premonitions, things like that. And the moon gives you the psychic energy to understand it. And with the sun, Pluto, of course, is the magician. It's power and transformation. And this is what we call any sun Pluto aspects, we call the magician aspect in karmic astrology. And it simply means that the sun in this particular space-time moment is starting to become conjunct Pluto, but before properly becoming conjunct, it simply looks at the Lord of the underworld, trying to assess or understand its workings. And this is a space-time moment when you can do that, when you can actually look at it. So that's what it is. And when we take a look at the next thing, this is the exact. So this is the exact sun, moon Neptune conjunction at 21:03 London in the evening on the 15th. And that is when the clairaudience really sets in, and you can actually look at stuff and understand what is happening. And then the Sun Pluto, the magician aspect, this is when you can understand how things are working, and you can look into the depth of the matter of anything that you want to understand. And this happened 16 minutes prior to, no, actually this will happen later on, sorry. The Sun Moon sextile happened 16 minutes prior to the Moon-Neptune conjunction, which is nothing really. And the Sun-Pluto conjunction will occur on the 20th. As I said, we are going to look at it in detail because I can show you I can explain to you what anaretic means. And I can also show you that both the sun and the moon have widths, and we need to take that into account. So this is a magical moment. I would suggest that it really started with the Capricorn new moon, which is a building moon, a structuring moon. And now we are entering into this magical period when the moon, which is much faster than the sun, is first making a sextile to Pluto. Sorry, to the sun, then to Pluto. Actually, I could have shown you how the moon Pluto aspect is working. It's a couple of hours later, maybe 3-4 hours later, but still, it's still, I mean, compared to this, but still, these are magical times because the two luminaries are actually looking at the two transcendental energies where Pluto is magic and Neptune is clairvoyance, or understanding things from a different perspective, or looking into stuff from a transcendental viewpoint. To transcend means to overcome or go above or beyond the ordinary. And that is exactly what's happening. And this window is opening now. Actually, it was opened with the new moon on the 11th, but the energy is building, and it will reach its peak when both Pluto and the sun are moving into Aquarius and still conjunct, although a little bit separating, but still within 1 degree. So that will be interesting to look at. So that's it, really. So don't forget, if you have the luminaries about 4-5 degrees in conjunct anything, then it's not the conjunction that is really important, but the ability to look at something from a distance and become more rational or objective about that type of archetype, that particular archetype. And this is the same thing when you have a configuration and then the sun or the moon is a little bit farther from the exactness of the configuration. I think I showed you something like that a little bit early, a couple of months earlier. There was something like that, as far as I remember. Anyhow, thank you for listening, and try to utilize it on your own for your own benefit. Thank you. Bye-bye.